Wait. We gotta move this way. Be the pictures.
Okay.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay, we want to thank everyone for coming tonight and sharing in the joy of Edwina's 75th birthday. And we have some little speeches we'd like to make, and then if you'll give us just a few moments, we're going to light 75 candles and bring out a beautiful cake that Helen has made in Edwina's honor. So, Helen, would you like to go ahead and say a few words?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much to everyone for coming. It's just wonderful to have such a great gathering to celebrate your birthday. So 75 years is a big accomplishment. And
You need me something to say.
I thought I would mark the occasion with describing 5 things that I've learned from my mother over the years. The first one is to cook with gusto. Ever since I was very teeny tiny, it was the 80s, and I can always remember Julia Child on the television and in the cookbooks, and it was all the rage back then, and she sort of set the stage for what you taught me to do with food. I love to cook, as you all saw me cooking the cake in the kitchen, and was probably a little stressed out at the time. And this spread tonight is just an example of what she loves to do all the time at home. She cooks all the time. The second one is to be adventurous. In 1972, my mom moved here from England, and she gave up being around friends and family to take on a new life. And I have moved around and experienced new things as well. And I think I've done them fearlessly, thanks to you and all you've taught me.
Take a breath.
The third thing is to be patient. Growing up, no matter what we were up to, whether it was gymnastics meet or fishing trips, you were more patient than I could possibly imagine. And even today, no matter what we ask of you, patience is something you exemplify all the time. The fourth thing is to be up for anything. When I was growing up, we lived on 9 acres of mountainous land in Massachusetts, very, very different from Ottawa Hills. And maybe you saw some of the photographs in the books in the other room, but we got into so many adventures there. We made our own maple syrup. We tapped the syrup out of the maple trees, and we would boil it on outside jugs. And one day I think it was raining outside or something, so we tried to boil it inside, and we ended up ruining the whole kitchen, getting all the sugar all over the walls. And you just would roll with it and be up for anything. We had chickens, we had trampolines, we had gyms. You can imagine it. We did it on that little area of land, and now you just go with the flow no matter what, and it's something I really value, having learned from you. The other thing is to give. You're the most giving person I know. No matter what, you're up early, you're up late, helping with everything, no matter what, whether it's food or painting or an odd job. And I just want to say that it makes such a difference, and you have no idea how much it helps everyone you touch. And the last thing I've learned from you is to love everyone. 20 years ago, you moved to Ottawa Hills, and since then, you have truly loved everyone you've touched, and I think this gathering here tonight is testament to that. And you truly hold our family together, and we don't know what we'd do without you, and we're really glad to spend this birthday with you.
Thank you. And Peg Simmons would like to say a few words for us as well.
I've had the privilege with my husband of being Edwina's pastor for a number of years. We came here 20 years ago, so we must have coincided.
Not quite.
And all right. Her pastoring really started, I think, our first week here when we enrolled our daughter Jenny at Ottawa Hills. And if you've ever had to move a 14-year-old in the middle of the school year, all I can say is don't. But Edwina was behind the counter when we went to register her, and I still remember how Jenny relaxed with your smile and your welcome, and that was really a lovely thing. As I was thinking about what to say tonight, there is a verse from Scripture that kept coming to mind from the letter of James, who said, "Don't be a hearer of the word only, but be a doer." Mm-hmm. And that word so much describes Edwina. The list of what she does at St. Michael's is endless. She has not only served on the Altar Guild, but she has chaired it. She's not only helped with the rummage sale, she has run it. Without her, we would not have a rummage sale. She has been a lay reader and brings her wonderful British voice to give a class, a taste of class to our lessons on Sunday. But I think the most important thing to me and to all of us is whatever she does with love. She always leads with her heart. And she's always one of the first ones in the hall when I come into the building to say, have you heard about so-and-so? What's going on with him or her? She keeps track not only of her family, which I know she does wonderfully well, but of her parish family. And you are part of the heart of St. Michael's, and we are just so privileged to know you.
Thank you so
you.
Another friend.
We're just doing the speech.
I heard every word. Just didn't want to open the door.
Is that right, Judy? Well, I would just like to say a few words as well. I was trying to think about Edwina, and the thing that came to my mind, which is kind of strange, is where's Waldo? Because for me, it's like, where's Edwina? And Edwina's everywhere. She's just doing everything. She's at the church, she's at the high school, she's volunteering, she's helping with AFS. She's busy in her book club. She's busy with the Daughters of the British Empire. It's unusual for someone to have as many hobbies and friends from as many walks of life as we have here tonight. You know, most people have like one little niche that they fill, and Edwina fills them in so many different directions. Everyone knows her. I know that when my kids were in high school, people used to call the high school just to hear her voice answer the phone because everyone loved her accent, and people would call just for like no real reason, but just to hear her on the phone. She helps out with the sporting events.
On public radio.
And she was on public radio. And there are just so many different aspects to her life. And yet she's always there helping me with AFS and our foreign exchange student program. And most of you probably don't realize how much work there really is behind the scenes. But when we have the rummage sale or we have diversity weekend, there are countless hours that go into preparing for those activities. And Edwina just does it all without even saying anything. She's just like quietly behind the scenes, always making sure that everything happens. And we talk probably like 5 times a day when these events are coming up, because she'll think of something and she'll come and say, oh, did we remember to do this? And I'll come back and say, oh, we forgot to do that. And between the two of us, we kind of get it all to work. But I don't know what we would do without all the wonderful things you do for our community. And so we thank you.
I do.
And you do. And so now, maybe you would like to say a few words.
I'm going to tell you a story about when I grew up, because I don't think that many of you knew that I grew up during the war in England, and I remember the bombers going over, and we used to sit. My parents would put me in the pram, and I was much too big for the pram, but nevertheless, you know, when the air raid sirens went off, we used to sit in the scullery, and now you're going to ask me what the scullery is. Do you know what a scullery is? And so, and my parents used to sit with their hard hats on, and we heard all the sirens going and the planes going over on the way to Coventry, and I was very lucky because I lived in a town called Reading, which really only had one bomb during the whole of the war, and it was on a Wednesday afternoon, which is in those days there was always, every town had a half day, and Wednesday happened to be the half day, and so we had very little destruction except, you know, for the stores that were involved, which probably was very hard. But I mean, I was with someone yesterday, and who was a friend of mine from Daughters of the British Empire, and she said that she came from London, and she lost her house 3 times, and she's my age. But anyway, I was also going to tell you how things change, because I don't know who knows Valerie Garforth, but Valerie lives in Ottawa Hills, and she's British, and her mother, who is going to be 99 this year, is a good friend of mine, and she and I had the same dancing teacher in England. But she went to, her parents lived in not Hong Kong,
Singapore?
where? Anyway, they was down in that direction.
Yes.
And so she always tells me the story that Miss Grove, who I remember very well, she was a headmistress of Malden House School, said she asked her head Miss Grove if she could have her hair cut. And Miss Grove said, "You have to write to your mother and ask her." Now the letter to Hong Kong would be 6 weeks getting there and 6 weeks getting back. So what am I to say now? Because I think you all know the answer and how things change. And these days nobody writes. I learned to type on a manual typewriter, and I don't think many people here did.
Not me.
So anyway, life changes, and we have to move with the times. And I hope we have lots more years to come. So thank you all so much for coming, and all to share my 75th birthday.
And if you all just give us about 3 minutes or 5 minutes, however long it takes to light 75 candles, we'll have a wonderful cake for you.
They really are.
Yes, they are.
We're going to have 75 candles.
Are they all going